Cardinals at the 49ers is the next matchup that we're going to talk about here. Your matchup that matters in this divisional matchup. Carmen, what do you
I
got?
have I have Jordan Mason versus the Cardinals front seven, and I think it's specifically because of one stat on either side.
All right, let's hear it.
And okay, so the Cardinals rank overall 18th in run defense grade, right?
Okay.
They have 22 missed tackles, which is tied for fifth most in the league. Do you want to know who leads the league in forced missed tackles in runs on runs?
I'm gonna guess it's Jordan Mason
It's
because you're
Jordan
bringing
Mason,
up
in
Jordan
fact.
Mason.
He's forced 21 missed tackles on runs. So he has forced almost as many missed tackles as the Cardinals defense has as a whole against the run.
Hmm.
I foresee that being an issue for Arizona and for what, San Francisco is going to try to do. Again, Kyle Shanahan is the master at multiple running back sets. He throws out, the diverse run scheme that San Francisco runs. It's so much fun to watch, and it evolves and it changes. And I think we were all obviously very concerned that this team didn't have Christian McCaffrey anymore. But Jordan Mason has stepped in, and even now that teams are kind of more aware of him, they have more tape on him. He's still effective, and I think it's particularly because he's just elusive and he's a pesky little running back that just was going to force you to miss tackles. So I'm concerned for this Arizona run defense against Jordan Mason in particular, but against Jordan Mason in a Kyle Shanahan system, I suppose.
Not many teams in the NFL can lose Christian McCaffrey and then just go, nah, we're good, actually.
Are you shocked that of all teams at San Francisco?
No. Obviously, the team that I would bet on the most for that to be the case is the San Francisco 49ers, which always does kind of bring up a funny value conversation of is it worth all the money and the draft picks that you trade to go get somebody like that? I'm not trying to say that Christian McCaffrey doesn't have value. He absolutely
Has a
does.
ton.
It's just funny when you look at it, for as well as Jordan Mason is playing. And I think that I'll sort of expand that because I also think that's the matchup that matters. I think the 49ers will have the ability to control the game the way that they want to with their run game versus the Cardinals defensive line because it just has not been good enough. Cardinals run defense this year, 59.9 grade. It's 18th in the NFL, but last week they were even worse than that, 57.3. When you look at the 49ers run blocking, 82.9 run blocking grade this season. That's the second best run blocking grade in the NFL. So even though it's not like a dire weakness for Arizona, they are kind of right around the middle of the pack with that. It's not like they're the Cowboys or the Bengals or those teams that are much lower in like dire need of much better run defense. This is still going to be a tough matchup for them. It's going to be pretty tough for them to handle this the way that they need to. So I think that is also the matchup that matters, and it's the one that's going to mean the most. My plus factor in this one, I'll go to my plus factor first because Fred Warner, I don't know if he's going to play. He's got an ankle injury.
Yeah.
We're kind of like monitoring it because I believe the Niners are the Thursday night football game next week, if I remember correctly. So Warner, I don't believe practice in the early parts of the week, but that actually makes sense beyond just his injury because you probably like, hey, let's give him some rest anyways if we're going to play 2 games in 5 days. And so if he's out there, though, he has been the best defensive player in football this year.
Yeah.
95.9 grade, first among all defensive players, 100 coverage snaps, 9 targets, only 4 catches allowed, 39 yards. He's got 2 interceptions and 2 forced incompletions. He has the same number of interceptions and forced incompletions than he does catches allowed. His presence is so impactful, whether he makes a play on the ball or not. He is just one of the most valuable linebackers that we have seen over the last decade. And he is somehow, some way, after a brilliant career, playing the best ball that he has played yet. And so if he is out there, he is always the plus factor because he completely changes the math and how you have to look at the 49ers defense. Amongst some other defensive stars that are on that side of the ball, he is shining the brightest right now. So Fred Warner is the plus factor to me. What's the plus factor to you?
Well, I initially wanted to, again, give Brock Purdy actually some props, given the fact that on throws 10 yards or more downfield, 37 completions, that's 11 more than any other player. By the way, like we have answered the question of is Brock Purdy actually a good quarterback or did he have all the talent around him? He is actually a good quarterback. But I do, just because we haven't talked about it yet, I want to switch over to actually someone like Marvin Harrison Jr. because, again, doing some incredible things for the Cardinals. And if the Cardinals are going to have a chance in this game, it's going to be that Kyler Murray to Marvin Harrison Jr. connection. And especially against these 49ers cornerbacks. I mean, PFF grades through week 4, Isaac Yiadom,
Mm-hmm.
68.6, Diamador Lenore, 66.3, Charvarius Ward, 58.8. There is an opportunity there to attack them with Marvin Harrison Jr. Um, and that's, again, I just think that if you're really talking about plus factors, if you're really talking about what's going to make the difference for for either of these teams, it's going to be Kyler Murray getting the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr., which is like a duh thing.
Right.
He's tied for first in receiving touchdowns with Justin Jefferson, but that's how you're productive if you're the Arizona Cardinals.
I know this isn't a betting show, but 7.5 for the Cardinals to be getting in this one feels like a lot with Kyler Murray. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Kyler Murray getting 7 points and always being able to, kind of like backdoor cover. It seems like a lot of points. Kyler has also
Yeah,
played really well the early parts of the season. He struggled the last 2 weeks, but again, I know this isn't a betting show. I'm just saying when I saw that 7 point line, I feel like
that is a big line.
that's a lot. Seven, giving this Cardinals offense 7 points, especially coming off 2 weeks that they did not play well, and
Right.
they're looking to bounce back and get some revenge. Divisional opponent, they know each other very well. Jonathan Gannon's going to be ready for it on the defense side of the football, however much he can. We'll see, but I think seven's a lot in a divisional game.
That is
Just
a
wanted
lot.
to point that out.